To know the happenings in the maritime sector, Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector. Maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, marine pollution and operations, and lots more.
Join me on Sundays every 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Voice of the People TV.
Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
All right, welcome to today's edition of the Lock. I'm your host, Jay, and today's show is grabbing stories from the world, and Coach Eric Chell has announced plans to shake things up ahead of their friendly tourney in England, saying it's time to try new players in different roles. Is this a fresh start or a big risk ahead of the AFCON, which comes up in the month of December? And talking about the rest of the qualifiers for the FIFA World Cup, we'll be breaking it and all over. And of course, over in Europe, Rafinha has done by the one and Messi as Barcelona dominated Dortmund in masterclass. He is the Brazilian star finally stepped from the studio today. And Mayowa joining us virtually, and we've got a lot of quick to dish out. Please stay with us on Local.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more.
Join me on Sundays every 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Voice of the People TV.
Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's. From the views on the
empty hunger
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
this particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news,
All right, you're welcome back. You're still watching Locker Room on Voice of the People TV. And of course, you can join us on YouTube. And right now, we're also live on LSL TV, channel 202. And of course, number which will be beaming under. You can your comments on our YouTube platform. And of course, you can also send your message via WhatsApp number as well. I'm not alone in the studio. I have Ikechukwu, who makes an interesting return on this Thursday, talking about Thursday night football, and definitely you have to talk about Manchester United. Anyway, until maybe next season, they will not be talking about Thursday night football. They will only be talking about weekend football. It's great to have you join us.
Jerry, good evening. Good evening to our viewers in Locker Room today. Rafinha is, one of those, revelations in football. I mean, I remember seeing him while he was playing for Leeds United, and of course, just a few years down the line, he's actually gone in for the biggest prize. And of course, the Super Eagles coach talking about Eric Schell and his idea of shaking things up. Jerry, I think like you said, it's going to be a very, very big show today, loaded with a lot of package, and I can't wait to go right into it.
All right, I don't know whether you're sounding like Onana or you're sounding like the Manchester United team. I hope that will not be their fate tonight, because they take on Olympic Lyon, which is a very, very interesting side. And one man, Manager Mantic, has been talking tough, and we also have Lacazette. He's been on fire with Lyon. They have a bunch of interesting players to look forward to tonight. Of course, Maiwa joins us. Maiwa, it's also great to have you join us on Locker Room. I understand that Maiwa is still finding his boots to join up with Manchester United in that Lyon game, but it is what it is. The head coach of the senior national team of explained the reason behind the decision for the team to participate in the 4 teams tournament in England in May. Chell, who had his baptism as coach of the Nigerian team in the World Cup qualifiers, where they were 2-0 winners away to Rwanda before drawing 1-1 at home against Zimbabwe, sees the game as an avenue to try out. The tournament will kick off for the first semi-final on Tuesday, 27th of May, as Trinidad Tobago, first ever training game on UK soil. The following day, 3-time African champions Nigeria will take on 4-time African champions Ghana in the semi-final, which will come up with all the intrigues and elements. And all 4 teams will return on Saturday. Featuring third Cup 25 to give the team the chance to try out a few new players in different roles. I think this would be a good opportunity in the month of May to have them come together. Excuse Osimhen, he has had a very tough of young players, both in England and Europe, come together. Also in that mix, definitely.
Jerry, I think I agree with you 100% on this. If I were the coach of the Super Eagles at this point, going into this 4 nation championship, I'll just, of them, apart from the ones that actually didn't get to feature in this doubleheader that were part of the team. Like more like, giving fresh, let's look at a team with fresh outlook. Let's look at, different set of players. I mean, interesting names, Rafiu, these guys were actually players that we've been hearing about. Chukwemeka is an opportunity. I mean, if we can get, the Arsenal young, Lamine Yamal, like I call him, talking about this young, interesting boy. I think this Everton guy also, if we can have all of these guys, coming to the team, and let's see how far we can actually see, a different goes. Because the interesting thing is, this Four Nation tournament, I mean, for me, from the beginning, when I saw it, when I heard about the news, the first thing that came into my mind, I know this is not going to be, a kind of an idea that will help, the Super Eagles in this in this way to the World Cup. But I think this is more of, a plan that is going. Yeah, so we can actually start building a team. Or rather, there's a pool that we can actually get a crop of players that will slug it out with those ones who think they already have, jersey in Super Eagles. Then we can now start looking at, okay, these guys play regularly for his club. This guy play in XYZ club side. These guys may not be playing regularly in. Like house between now and December, if he gets it right, start a good season with got an invite in this particular and then let's start preparing for the Nations Cup. As well, I still believe we still have a very good chance of making it to the World Cup. But I never had the Super Eagles have somebody that can really fill in my boots.
All right, Maiwa gets to join us. I think he has found. Well, let's start with locker room. All right, the coach of the coach of this the coach of the Super Eagles. Well, let's talk about Eric Chell. He has talked about trying new things. And what are you expecting him to try in terms of bringing in new players into the team?
Well, definitely. I mean, the Four Nation tournament is an avenue for us to be able to test out new players. Remember why the World Cup qualifier was going on. One of the things we alluded to here is that Eric Chell does not know these players. It will be very difficult for him to be trying out players that he doesn't know, that he has not seen play as a coach, in a very to be able to qualify. Respect, there has been talk he said again, some players were invited, they were part of the squad for the World Cup qualifiers, but they didn't get to play due to the fact that that might be their first game for the national team. I mean, under pressure to perform like the World Cup qualifiers, and they will be in a natural habitat for them to perform calmly and will be able to see their best, not like the one, Osho came in and was very nervous in those particular 2 games and couldn't see the best of him. This will probably prepare them for a life, in the Super Eagles, and also give Eric Chell an insight on who he might be able to integrate into the national team going forward. Also, it will also serve as a preparatory ground for us for the next qualifiers in September and also the Nations Cup in December. So, I mean, this is a good one. I hope he's able to execute it perfectly. Around. Will not mess up with paper. Remember the last time wanted to the NFF mess it up because of paperwork and could not play that match. I hope NFF have put their house in order such that we're able to go for this one.
All right, we hope the NFF has put their house in order so that we can maximize the of invitational tournament in the month of May. Team again, Rachel has reached out as Emmanuel Emega on pledging his international future to Nigeria. Born to a Nigerian father and a Togolese mother in the Netherlands, the 22-year-old has represented the Netherlands from under 15 to under 21 level but has in the past opened up on his desire to play for the Super Eagles during his days. He was a teammate of Nigerian international goalkeeper. However, he went on to play for the Dutch under 21, but playing for at League One, a 10 child, and is willing to have with him. Feels good enough. He's quite a decent player with what I've seen. Talking about Emeka.
Absolutely.
To cut it short there. Let's take the call.
Okay.
Hello, you're welcome.
Thanks again.
All right, Dr. Nonsense, great to have you.
Calling from the US. Thank you. What's up? Please, Mayowa, I want to. Fine. In that last, should have featured one or two or three new players. If it had been a player like Osho, if he had featured like in the defense, Obu, Ego, or what it is, then he featured somebody in the midfield so that we will hold the midfield tight. We would have won Zimbabwe. Then, in terms of the friendlies, I will advise, if possible, if he can use 30 players per game, per match, he uses it because it's a friendly.
Okay.
Friendly, you don't have any number of players to feature. There is this Nigerian player, Noel Okafor. Yeah, he's yet to.
Okay.
He has not featured for any national team. He hasn't. Karim Adeyemi just made one or two features, but no one is yet to feature. Then Cyril Dresser, this is the time for him to use Cyril Dresser. Personally, I was surprised why he didn't call Cyril Dresser for the World Cup qualifier. The comment Jose Mourinho made a comment when Rangers and Fenerbahce met in to buy Cyril Dresser to his team. He will immediately buy him that best goal scoring player in the Dutch league with PSV. And PSV is the same team that Arne Slot, the current coach of Liverpool, came from. Arne Slot was Cyril Dresser's coach in PSV. Why was Cyril Dresser overlooked for the World Cup qualifiers? Europa League is one of the highest goal scorers as well. So Kelly has no reason to drop him. I don't see any reason why he dropped him from the World Cup qualifiers. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Innocent from the US. Quite spot on there, if you ask me. Names, Nigeria. That coach is not really doing his World Cup. You to the average players who cannot. Zimbabwe.
Mr. Innocent actually talked about, opportunity to actually play. I'm not saying he shouldn't have. And fumbled. Right. We cannot, you know, the Super Eagles game is bigger than the future for the Super Eagles, you know, considering how emotional for his club side. So all of these things saying we have a lot of talent, but the truth is we do not have top talent. We are yet to see the quality of talent we had in the early 2000s and the late. Say the Super Eagles we have a lot. These guys cannot even break into top 6 club side in England. They cannot even become a regular leagues in Europe. They'll be worried. We only have those in Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman.
And there are very few teams.
Let's take the Spanish national team, for example. Let's take the English national team, for example.
I mean, how many English players in the starting level can make the top 6 in England?
No, not just in England. We're talking about across Europe.
Across Europe.
Yes, look at the English national team. Look at their first.
Is Jordan Pickford
No, who is their first? Aaron Wan.
Aaron Wan is the what?
Wait now. Okay. Let's start counting. Harry Maguire, Udoji. Squad now, right?
Okay.
That's what we're looking at. Udoji, Kyle Walker, Kieran Trippier. We're looking at the teams they play for.
Walker is already expired now.
Of course, as expired as he is, like you look, he moved from that is in the top 6.
Yes. That midfielder there.
Declan Rice.
Rice one of Arsenal.
Arsenal is not in the top 6 in England.
Just
have been all
leave Declan Rice is still coming up.
Phil Foden.
That's scam.
Okay, you call him a scam.
Do
you have a player that's as talented as Phil Foden?
Let's even go there.
In your midfield in Nigeria today.
In Nigeria.
Yes, that's what we are saying now. No, anyway. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that we don't have those quality players. See, we know that there are average players in every team across the world. We are saying that I'm not saying we don't have talent.
Yeah.
I'm saying we don't have top talent.
Talent first before you can now say if they can cut it. The thing is,
we don't have top talent.
The thing is that if we have talent,
we don't have top.
We have talent that can blossom.
Okay, that's a conversation we can have.
Because if you are looking at having great players, we are going to have issues. Because one, take a look at Morocco. We talked about Morocco yesterday, yeah, and Morocco does not have the big names, but they had a coach who had belief, who is good, who's not up there, but knows his onions. He was able to select the talent that Morocco has all around Europe and all around the world, and they went to the semi-final of the World Cup. That is what we are asking for. There is a structure already in Morocco. Morocco has a very beautiful football structure. It didn't just see. That's not. People look at Morocco and they don't look at their national team. Their female national team. You know, Moroccan women are actually not known for to play highest level of football in Africa. But their female national team in Africa actually, I think they won the Nations Cup in Africa, or they got to the semi-final for the very first time. They are the same Morocco under 23 side that went to the Olympics also got to the semi-finals. So it tells you there's a structure. The Mohammed V Academy that started in 2009
is the reason why we are seeing Morocco like this. Yes, you want to argue that they brought in a lot of players that were born outside Morocco, but the truth is the structure of Morocco, or what they managed to put in place, is a very big factor, and it's affecting every part of their football. The English structure that started in 2012 is also has affected all parts of their football. It got England to the back-to-back Euro finals. It got their female to World Cup semi-finals. It got, so we can look at it got them under 17 World Cup for the first time. It got them under 20 World Cup as well for the very first time in Phil Foden and Ademola Lookman, different category. All of these structures, if you put a proper structure, it might not yield fruit overnight, but with time you start seeing the structure. I'm not saying they should not bring players. Yes, I agree with you when you say talent. We have potential talent, but truth is you must have a structure going for you. If not, you just go here and start picking this today and jama everybody, hoping that you get a result.
If you're waiting for that structure, this my black bears will all turn grey as far as this Nigerian setup is concerned. But anyway, the thing is that we can only say it, but those who will be able to carry it out, that has been the challenge when it comes to Nigerian football. We didn't have structure, but Yemi Teller was able to assemble players and went on to win the Under-17 World Cup. Of course, if there was something that he saw and he was given the chance, if you give those who know their onion the chance, like Ragorgui was given the chance to take Morocco to the World Cup and select the players he believed could do the job. That's why they went to the semi-final. If we can have that, we had such kind of setup during the 17. We have that in the Super Eagles for once. We saw what happened in 2013. We won the Nations Cup because Keshi was given the opportunity, the wherewithal, the freedom to select his players. And that is why he went out there and won the Nations Cup. Same thing with West Ham. Why can't we have that now? It's like it takes maybe something extra after so many years for that to happen.
I don't think it takes anything extra. What it takes is those running football should answer off, interfering with football, and that's just it. I can bet you with you. We talked about the Moroccan team yesterday, and we've spoken about them today too. One thing that the Moroccans, apart from the structure available, they've also built a structure around, not insisting on the coach to use a particular player. I mean, we've mentioned it. Until we started crying and started shouting on this platform and other platforms that people were talking about it, Tanimu was still making the team when he had no business in the team. How does a Tanimu, get into the team? Go back again. A particular former NFF president came out and said he was the sole reason why a particular Ahmed Musa made it to the World Cup. These are the kind of things we are talking about. There is no reason for you to interfere. If you have given the job to somebody, interference will ruin everything. That's why you have people who have a slot, who have a particular. When people start oriented, allow them do their job the way they are supposed to do it, and nobody is forcing a player on the particular coach. That's when we begin to see the beauty of that they are greasing their palm in the NFF. That's one section of it. Another section of it, which Mike Chukwu rightly done, in as we've mentioned the Moroccan situation, we've mentioned the English. However, there is a structure behind the structure that don't have that.
All right. So, okay.
People who are really interested in the structure for our football.
All right. By the way, since we've been having some bit of technical glitches there, and talking about the striking position where Victor Osimhen looks like an island in terms of him being the #1 choice. But now there's a big issue in that position, talking about having a, would I say, a substitute for Victor Osimhen when he leaves the pitch. He has been carrying the goal-scoring burden for the team, and we hear that Eric Chell has found a player who he feels can fill that boot. His name is Rafiu Durosimi, a 22-year-old forward for Victoria Pleasant. He has caught Chell's attention, and despite a recent injury layoff, Durosimi has scored 7 goals and provided 4 assists in 14 games. And the top African scout praises Duro Simi, saying only Osimhen is better in terms of conversion rates. And Duro Simi's impressive form has also attracted interest from Italian Serie A side Lazio, who are reportedly considering a summer transfer. I hope he's not doing, would I say, a scouting job for these players to sell them. But it's good he's looking around for talent. And if Duro Simi, he feels, can score goals, because we've tried Victor Boniface, we've tried Onachu, and Aroko Dare, decent, but we're still yet to see more. It's still early to judge him. And looking for more options is a good idea.
Absolutely, Jerry. Looking for more options would always be a good idea. Every good team wants to see, look at the player replacing the other person when he's going out and say, yes, you still have quality in depth. That's what makes a very good team. But the question we should be asking, the big question is, we do not concentrate more. Why are we not concentrating more on the fact that we don't have creative players for these attackers, right? Now, it is easy to actually call Paul Onachu a flop. It's even way easier to say Victor Boniface is not even living up to expectation. How much of Aroko Dare have we seen? Terry Murphy, what's up with him? Call all sort of names that are actually put on the jersey of the Super Eagles. Ask yourself one very honest question: is have we been able to create enough chance for these guys to actually see them say these guys are actually not good enough to be the striker of the Super Eagles? Imagine if Victor Osimhen has not actually made his mark in Europe before going to this last AFCON. Victor Osimhen only managed to score 2 goals in the entire tournament, and of course, is it 2 goals? Just 1 goal in the entire tournament, and it tells you how much of a disaster it would have been if he's a player with less pedigree before coming to that championship. We saw his work ethics, we saw what he brought into the team, we saw his presence, we saw everything, and we cannot deny that he's arguably one of Nigeria's most influential players in that tournament. But the truth is, how many goals did he score? Now it goes back to how many chances did they create for him? So we can start having a conversation, because yes, it is easier for us to go and pack all the old strikers in the world, bring in Ronaldo Dalima back to football and tell him to play ahead of attack midfielders who are not creative enough. Trust me, his output will be very, very little. Now the big question: how much of a time does this coach have to actually create a team that will work in a very, very synergetic atmosphere? Do we have the midfielder that will replace Alex Iwobi? Is Alex Iwobi good enough to be the Super Eagles, main creator in chief? We can start asking ourselves all of these questions before we then look at the problem being, the case of an attacker. Victor Osimhen and the like does very well because in their club side they create enough chance for them to actually bury the ball, behind the back of the goalkeeper. So we can ask ourselves all of these questions. Then we now say, okay, yes, the problem of the Super Eagles is adding, getting more attack. As far as I'm concerned, Super Eagles have shown that the position of an attacker or a striker is not our major problem. Our problem is within the creators in the midfield and centre-back pair who do not have enough squad in depth. And for me, I think that's where the coach should actually, focus more energy on to actually get the best out, and perhaps even get a very good contender for goalkeeping, or the goalkeeping position for Stanley Nwabali, because I'm beginning to see a man who feels a little relaxed in that Super Eagles goal. So let's get these positions right, and then we'll start talking about what happens if Victor, because for me, if Victor Osimhen is not around and we have creative midfielders, look at Arsenal demolish Real Madrid without a proper number 9. It tells you that when a team has a very good midfield and you can control and contain your positions, you most likely win every game.
All right, you'll most likely win every game. And let's go back to the UEFA Champions League. Rafinha, the Brazilian, equaled Lionel Messi's club record for goal involvement in a single Champions League campaign as Barcelona trounced Borussia Dortmund to take command of their quarter-final tie. The Brazilian forward scored and assisted twice to reach 19 goal involvement in the competition this time, the same as Messi achieved in the 2011-2012 campaign. And Rafinha's 12th European goal of the season gave Barcelona a deserved first-half lead before Robert Lewandowski struck twice after the break and Lamine Yamal added a fourth to put the Spanish side on course for the semi-finals. And the hosts ran riots in the early stages and could have scored 3 times inside the opening 7 minutes, with Lamine Yamal and Lewandowski forcing Dortmund goalkeeper Gregor Kobel into smart saves. And of course, it looks like the season where Rafinha is making a just cause for the Ballon d'Or.
I mean, Jerry, looking at Rafinha in a couple of seasons back, precisely 2021, we saw Rafinha trying to get into what is best described as a proper top talent in the English Premier League. We saw him and we saw how bright he is back then, and we saw a lot of top club side in England looking his way. Arsenal, Manchester City, they actually want to bring him.
Chelsea wanted to sign him, but he chose Barcelona over
exactly.
Chelsea.
Of course, Brazilian connection, a lot of talks. If you want to actually step up your game, you want to win the Ballon d'Or.
There was a time Barcelona even wanted to sell him.
Yes.
They were not happy with his performance.
Yes, of course. I think it was Xavi's time.
Yeah, Xavi's time.
But Hans Flick came in and remolded this team, moved him from that position and bring him more, into the center of the midfield, and then he's operating between the center of the midfield, then down to the left hand side of the pitch, just like Rivaldo. Now we are seeing the best of Rafinha. And of course, I think the last Ballon d'Or poll showed that he's the favorite to actually win the gong, closely followed by his teammate Lamine Yamal. Barcelona has a very rich team, and this UEFA Champions League this season, I think we are beginning to see for a very long time the best set of teams in Europe getting to the semi-final. Arsenal, Barcelona, PSG has shown that yes, they are actually one of those teams to beat, and of course Inter Milan. I mean, too much cannot be said about this guy, and I'm so happy seeing him doing this. But it's just so unfortunate that he's almost close to 30, and I just wish he's way younger than this for us to actually enjoy more of him. But then I think it's his time, and let's just keep.
He's someone to reckon with, but it is what it is. I hope if Barcelona wins the Champions League, though, him and Lewandowski as well as Lamine Yamal will be up for the Ballon d'Or.
Let me first of all start. I think Barcelona will not win. I've said it yesterday. I've called it yesterday. Arsenal is going to win the Champions League, and I'm saying it again.
So
however,
might win the Ballon d'Or.
If you look at the rise of, I don't think so. I don't think the Clarice will win it. I don't think it will be on the basis of the champion. I don't think so. However, if you look at Rafinha, it's a turnaround story for him. He struggled under a Xavi. Xavi was ready to let him go. Now, look at what Asu Flick has been able to do for him. Asu Flick tweaked his formation a bit to suit a Rafinha, and Rafinha is flourishing. Also, we are not giving credit to the 36 years old, that continues to score with reckless abandon. That is a particular Lewandowski. Ikechukwu said something the other time when we were talking about, the midfielders that play behind Osimhen. What is making Lewandowski flourish is the midfielders playing behind him. They are always to give the ball to him, and the joy he ends up scoring majority of the goal. But in any case, Barcelona has been so amazing, and like you said, this Champions League will be very, very interesting with top teams making it to the last stage, of the tournament.
Right, I don't know the plans of Borussia Dortmund. It seems like they keep denying other teams the slots. They go there and still look inferior when they meet top sides like Barcelona.
Yeah, it's happened. Liverpool also denied that team the spot by becoming the first in the table, but they got to the round of 16 and got knocked out.
At least they have 6 Champions League titles.
Well, I mean, that's
compared to Dortmund, who always go to final.
Dortmund also has a Champions League trophy, but the thing is, this is old glory you're ruling out. Nobody cares.
Which one is old glory?
Your 6 Champions League is old glory.
Okay, what Man United have they won
This is not about Manchester United. This is just
Manchester.
This is you calling out Pierre.
Wait, 2019
you are calling Dortmund old glory.
2019 is old glory.
A child that is born in 2019 is probably in primary 2.
2019 is old glory.
Old glory, trust me.
A child born in 2019.
So probably in primary 2.
Primary. Oh my God, this man, you're a very funny man. So, Anyway, let's also talk about Aston Villa. Aston Villa lost to PSG side. It was looking like they had something in that game, but somehow PSG found a way out. The Princess. All right, it seems like we're still having issues with Man there, but taking a look at Aston Villa, they started like a house on fire. but somehow PSG found a way to make sure that whatever hopes they will have at Villa would not be that bright.
Absolutely. You know, PSG is a very good side. I mean, we saw them, how they actually play all of their games. They showed that, yes, they know how to actually contain teams and they know how to dictate, you know, the pace of play. And again, against Aston Villa would have, you know, had a very good chance of qualifying to the next round if the scoreline had been just 2 goals to 1. But they are a side that is very compact, and anytime they actually go forward, it exposes them. This is what, you know, PSG will be looking at. Actually, this is what PSG will enjoy right there at the Villa Park. Now, if they go into that game, Aston Villa have no other option than to come out. So which means they will not be playing their usual compact style. And if they are not going to be playing their usual compact style, they are not going to defeat this Paris Saint-Germain side pound for pound. They cannot take over the midfield against this Paris Saint-Germain side. If you cannot take over the midfield in a game like this, you don't even have a better you know, attacking threats than them. Trust me, the game is as good as done. The only thing that can actually save Aston Villa in this particular game is if PSG travel to the Villa Park and then when they get there and then decide to just take their leg off the gas. But if they don't do that, if they go with the same intensity, which I believe is what they're going to do, then trust me, they might even score more goals than they actually scored at the Parc des Princes.
All right, I saw Kvaratskhelia, quite an awesome player. No Mendes, is he a striker?
I mean, he brings in that Marcelo flair. You know, that flair.
His composure.
Daniel Alves, that when they get
that composure to score that goal.
When you see this sort of fullback, that you know, some of the top fullbacks have been lacking. Players like Walker, when he gets into the box, you see this you know, hurry. You see this player who is so calm. You at few seconds into the game, you look at him and you start wondering, is this guy truly a defender, or perhaps he's just a midfielder or an attacker who was actually converted? But this is one of those, you know, special players.
To Lyon for the first leg of their quarterfinal tonight. The first meeting of the clubs since Cristiano Ronaldo's goal settled a last 16 tie in 2008 en route to the English Giants' last Champions League title. That's 2008. A child born in 2008 will definitely be playing top football. I don't know when Lamine Yamal was born. As far as 2000. Anyway, it is what it is. Lami Yamal was born after 2008. So anyway, let's not go into that conversation. But tonight, Mattis has also started throwing jibes at Onana. Onana said a lot of things about Leon. Mattis was not happy. He said if it was Van der Sar that was talking, he would have listened. And take a look at Onana's stats. Quite a decent one. Taking a look at his save percentage, but he's still behind the greats and the greats of Manchester United goalkeepers. But you get to have such saves when you have people like Maguire defending for you, and Yori and Co. Lenny Euro. Anyway, what are the chances of United tonight? I can see you're taking the joke.
Well, the thing is this: I think what Onana said was very wrong. He will add another fire under them to be able to prove Manchester United wrong. I mean, you saw what Martinez did, and PSG responded in kind on the field of play, dispatching Aston Villa. I think Lyon might want to do that. However, Manchester United has punched above their weight in this Europa League. And, you know, for some weird reason, I think Manchester United will get to the final of the Europa League. I'm calling it again. Manchester United in the Europa League finals.
Now you will win it. Why are you trying to make this guy feel like you?
Well, I'm calling it. We are going to be in the final. I don't know if we will win,
United
but
will
we'll get to
win
the
it.
final.
You will use your mouth to apologize to the Ragwiji prophet.
They should not even. They are not going to pass Leon. That's the truth. Don't worry, Leon will expose you today. Nemanja Matic has already taken his personal.
Are you sure, Jerry?
With confidence, full confidence, like Azet and Co. They are ready for you tonight. Onana, he go suffer, he go collect, Oto. Just no problem. Anyway, congratulations to Liverpool fans. Mohamed Salah and Van Dijk on the verge of signing a 2-year contract extension, and of course, to the shame of all the detractors who wanted Salah to go. I know a lot of Arsenal fans, they were praying that Salah should go. Man United especially, they were praying because this man has suffered Onana and Co a lot. And I'm worried he could still collect next season. It's sure, it's confirmed. Anyway, that's much you can take on today's show. It's been a thrilling edition of The Locker Room right here on Voice of the People TV. Don't forget, we are now on SLTV, channel 202. And we are everywhere there. And of course, we're also on YouTube, Facebook. You can find us anywhere. Big thanks to the guys, Silva, Ikechukwu, Victor, and of course, Alex, Paul, and of course, Ikechukwu here with us, as well as Maiwa. My name is Jerry Apelai, saying, if not for anything at all, do it the sport way.